This is the TJ Evans Show, and here's my uncle TJ Evans.
Welcome to the TJ Evans Show. I'm your host, TJ Evans, and I will want y'all to please like this video, subscribe to the page, and wherever YouTube, Rumble, any type of social media platform that you're watching this show on, please comment down below and just give your opinion. Tell us what you think about the situation that we will be discussing today. And that situation is the invasion of Russia into the Ukraine. And that is a really bad thing because this may start a war, and it's actually starting to look like it may be World War III. And a lot of people have different opinions on this, but there was this one thing before I even just get into the meat and potatoes of this show. This one actress, I forgot her name, but she came out and she wrote a poem to Vladimir Putin, and it's stupid.
Is this why you now decide no one will get the best of you? Is this why you do not hide nor away shy from taking back the world? Was it because so early in life, all that strife racked your little body with fear? If I was your mother, if the world was cold, I'd have died to make you warm. I'd have died to protect you from the unjust, the violence, the terror, the uncertainty. I would have died to give you life. Oh, dear Mr. President Putin, if only I'd been your mother. Perhaps the torture of unwrit youth would not within your heart imbue ascription to such.
Ma'am, I don't know if you know this, but Vladimir Putin used to work for the KGB, and he killed people. So I don't think this emotional poem towards him is really gonna mean anything. It's probably gonna fall on deaf ears or evil laugh right before the guillotine drops. So, whichever one comes first. But I'm pretty sure that he could care less about you wanting to be his mom to give him a hug. And I don't think hugging Vladimir Putin is a good thing to do because he doesn't look like much of a hugger. And then we have individuals like Cenk Uygur who is using this war to actually perpetuate racism in America, because he sent out a tweet earlier last week and he was talking about how that the right wing appreciates Putin and what he's doing because racism. Me personally, I'm not really thinking about racism right now because there's an actual war going on and people might drop nukes. So yeah, let's think about what's really important, Shank. And it's kind of funny that you're on a high horse when your news program is called The Young Turks, and the Young Turks actually committed Armenian genocide. So good job for you. But then we had Donald Trump. He came out and made a statement, and the women on The View really was upset about this. So let's just see what they have to say.
Now, Biden vowed to impose crippling sanctions that would cut off Russia from Western finance. But you know who seems to be so much more impressed by Putin's moves on this? Take a look.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. Putin declares a big portion of Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. Here's a guy who's very savvy. I know him very well, very, very well. By the way, this never would have happened with us. Had I been in office, not even thinkable. This would never have happened.
No, you would have sold the country, but that's something else.
That wouldn't have happened. That is the dumbest remark, and a lot of people in the GOP right now are buying this lie. Yeah. That he would have solved the problem. He would have said, here is Ukraine. Yeah. Take it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can see why Donald Trump feels this way, because think about it. What did Vladimir Putin, what did China, what did North Korea do when he was in office? They chilled out because they knew for a fact that Donald Trump was uncontrollable and he could be irrational and really unpredictable. But now, since Joe Biden's in office, they're doing whatever they want. We have the substitute teacher back in the classroom, and all the bad kids are ready to do all the bad things. But I hate hearing individuals like Joy Behar who just don't believe this when we can actually prove, because we remember the last 4 years when Donald Trump was in office. Y'all tell me about the conflict that he started. What was the new war that we were getting into? Yeah, none. None whatsoever. And then we have Whoopi Goldberg, who I don't listen to because guess what? She just learned about the Holocaust recently. So I'm not even going to comment on what she said, but I just get tired of hearing her and just hearing The View just talk about their disdain for Donald Trump, even though he didn't do anything to them and actually helped them make more money because, everybody's ratings went up while Donald Trump was in office because Donald Trump was in office. It's funny since all this stuff happened that the people on the left and in the corporate media world and the blue check marks will sit here and tell me that Russia invading Ukraine was wrong because it's not their country. So apparently everybody believes in borders. And now I'm starting to find out that everybody believes in the right to bear arms.
So how bloody do you think this can get? How much fight do you think the Ukrainians have here?
I think Ukrainians have 150%, 500% fight. I mean, they're going to fight like hell. And actually, they just passed a law in which guns are allowed to be used in freely in Ukraine. So that is a preparation. So if every Ukrainian takes a gun, Russians don't have a prayer. I mean, the military can fight, but it would be Ukrainians, I think, really ready to die.
Go figure. You have God-given rights. Let's get down to what the world leaders are doing. Now, we have first Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, who was really upset about the invasion of the Ukraine by Russia and was really, really taken back to how undemocratic Vladimir Putin is. So he instituted sanctions for Russia into Canada or just dealing with trades or anything like that. But now it's kind of funny because this is the same individual who stifled a peaceful protest against the mandatory mask mandates and changed laws on his own citizens.
We are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use.
Like seriously, they're really still trying to use the full force of the law to lock these individuals up, even though nobody was harmed. But that's cool. I'm glad that we have individuals who can say Vladimir Putin's bad, and he's the only bad man in the world. Just Trudeau, I can't stand you. You're a terrible, terrible person. And then we had the EU who decided to put in sanctions, and these sanctions will make it pretty difficult for Russia to be able to spend money because they withdrew them from the SWIFT banking system. So they won't be able to actually do any transactions across the world. So they're pretty much stuck in Russia. But this may have a negative effect around the world because Russia had a lot of debt, and this debt will end up probably falling on the rest of the world's citizens. So I guess that's a good thing. I don't think it's good because I don't want to pay for stuff that I didn't do. That's just me personally. Then we also have the reaction from Vladimir Putin, who's pretty much said, "Look, man, if y'all do this, guess what's going to happen? We're going to put our nukes on standby," which he did. So now Vladimir Putin has his nuclear warheads on standby, so everybody is going to sleep well. But that's what Canada is doing and other Western countries are doing. But what is the United States doing? What is the United States doing under Joe Biden? Well, we already know nobody was going to be harder on Vladimir Putin than Joe Biden. Well, at least that's what he told us.
Putin and the Russians are trying to engage in our elections and decide who the president's going to be. And this time I'm the object of their attention. Because Putin knows if I am president of the United States, his days of tyranny and trying to intimidate the United States and those in Eastern Europe are over. I'm going to stand up to him. He's a bully.
Now, I don't see how that's actually possible because of the simple fact when he first got into office, Joe Biden said, you know what? We're going to close down American pipelines, which helped us become one of the largest producers of oil in the whole entire world. And we actually was exporting oil, which hasn't happened in like 60 years. But he decided to close down the pipelines in America. There was 4 American citizens from American companies and said, you know what? Russia, y'all can open up pipelines. And I believe they opened up one in Alaska. So that kind of backfired, I can see now. And also, it may just be one of those things that he just wanted to be like, you know what? I did do a little mess up over there in Ukraine when I did the whole quid pro quo thing. So, hey, man, pipeline.
I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to the press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, what, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Yep, that was our president admitting to doing something very, very, very illegal. That's great. Good job, Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe. But in all actuality, before this even happened, this invasion happened, Joe Biden said that they will put up sanctions against Russia, and this will help deter them from starting a war, which didn't work because Russia invaded Ukraine anyway, and they didn't even believe that the sanctions would work themselves.
The purpose of the sanctions has always been and continues to be deterrence.
And number two, no one expected the sanctions to prevent anything from happening.
Great job. I think he just likes talking and saying, hey, we're doing this and we're being very, very tough, but at the same time, they're being pretty soft. Same way they're soft on immigration in this country, illegal immigration in this country, because we have an invasion on our own southern border, but we're worried about Ukraine because Joe Biden said, you know what? We need to send border patrol to Ukraine because they need our help. And where on God's green earth does that make sense that for you to make your own country vulnerable to help someone else? And I think he really doesn't care about America because he shows it and proves it each and every day by doing some things like, I don't know, purchasing more oil from Russia this week than we did last week. Or what about opening up our oil reserves in America right now? Like, why would that be a good thing to tap into our oil reserves when you're considering going to war? Don't we have to be prepared for war? And one of the things that move the tanks and the jet planes is oil. Maybe you could try to do a simple thing like opening up the pipelines so we can get back to business. But again, this is an individual that clearly does not care about America, and I don't see how he's still the leader because he made one major oopsie daisy during this whole thing that pretty much takes the cake. He decided to share intelligence that he got about Russia to China. And right now, China and Russia, they're starting to cozy up a little more. They're starting to become better friends, better allies. And guess what China did? Told Russia what the United States told China. What is he? I don't understand why this president does not understand that you can't trust communist countries. You can't trust these places. I don't know what's going to happen. Donald Trump was in office, we wouldn't be going through these situations because from evidence from the past 4 years, we wasn't going through these things. But now Joe Biden is the president of the United States and we have to deal with it. Would you have done the same things that Joe Biden did? Would you close down pipelines in America and allow Russia to open up their own? Would you still purchase oil from Russia? Would you get on the news media and tell Russia about cyber attacks that you plan on doing against them? Or would you even talk to China about information that you gained about Russia? I'm just saying it doesn't seem like smart steps, especially when you plan on removing Border Patrol agents from the southern border of your own country. But let us know in the comment section, what do you think? Do you think we should just even get involved in this whole situation? I'm your host, TJ Evans with the TJ Evans Show. Y'all remember, subscribe to the page, like the video on whatever social media app that you're using, and also comment down below. We want to hear from you. Y'all stay up. Peace.